Grab yourself a seat and keep those hands in the vehicle at all times. You're about to be taken on a ride through the untamed wilds of internet role-playing. Observe them in their natural habitat.
So you head out.
You know that would be funny! I didn't know there'd be consequences!
Enjoy the splendor of their spurgery.
Felix, who is the lion fauna,
And feast your eyes upon the questionable creations of internet randoms.
Actually, I've never DM'd before.
This is the Supernova Safari.
Hi, this is Blake, the voice of Clara May Sora, Records of Remnant, and this is going to be one of the most exciting episodes of Supernova Safari yet. And that's saying something, because we've had some exciting episodes. In this excitement, I am joined by Noah.
Mystical counter.
Liam.
I just want to say that these are two of my favorite episodes of the Grimm Campaign. Because they're the shortest.
And Ben.
Huh? Oh, sorry, Can you guys hear that? I'm sorry, I was shaving off 15 minutes from each of these episodes.
you guys did the exact same.
Immediately, we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
This is literally just like real RWBY. These episodes have been getting progressively shorter. Today's episodes are about 35 minutes each. I am aghast.
Specifically, the first one is 32 minutes.
Yeah, Ben, didn't you say you just had like that pulled up of all the episode times?
I do. They generally stick around to 45 minutes.
And that's including Budget Crow telling us about how you can build an empire.
Yeah, that's including like the solid one.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, like of the second episode, after the intro, it's like already like a fucking, I think like a fourth of the episode is almost done.
Yeah.
Like after the recap.
I mean, like there is a lot of bullshit there. Yeah, it's really shocking. I don't really know why they seem to stretch these. It must have been some scheduling issue or something, and they just said fuck it. But yeah, there's been a slow decline in this also.
Yeah, I have a theory that I picked up in the second episode we watched of why I think these are shorter.
Sure, go for it. Let's hear it.
Okay, well, it's pretty noticeable. It's noticeable in, like, the second episode the most. Is, like, you can really tell from some of the way, like, I think specifically Chris and Chad were talking, like, they seemed really fucking tired. So I literally think it's just, like, there's a chance they were actually recording a normal amount, and, like, everyone was just, like, probably fucking dead, so they just cut more aggressively.
Yeah, I mean...
Because they just seemed really out of it. And not, like, in the out of it way of, like, oh, Eddie's being a cunt. Like, they just... like, that was happening a lot, and I have many points on what I've noticed from that.
Eddie being mean to his players? No!
But, by the way, Ben, we just had a really important encounter, so you can level up.
Wait.
Roll for HP.
I need to say, if you were fucking... Listen, I need to get this out of the way. I don't think these are the most exciting episodes, and I know Blake doesn't, but these guys insist. And, like, the end of both these episodes, that, like, damn, this shit was some of the most intense shit we've done.
Yeah.
And, I really think that I mean, everyone remembers last time we ended as this Vermilion encounter goes. I really think they just were like, oh, we're all dying, but I don't want Eddie to feel bad because he made his cool villain showed up, and we're like, yeah, awesome. I think this was genuinely all the players being like, let's just say it was really cool because I don't want Eddie to feel bad. Because, Jesus Christ.
Ben, let's make sure that when we record the next Records of Remnant, whoever's doing the recaps is like, man, that was the most exciting episode last week. Now we're gonna have the best one yet.
I would never say that.
Yeah, because you're not You're not a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that because I think it would set undue expectations on my friend.
I would also like to note I think the intros, like, recently, like, I noticed this last time, but also this time, they're just shittier. They're not as funny. They literally just keep doing the same joke of, haha, yeah, Chad, do the intro. And, like, the other chiming jokes that people, like, you know, bring up are just not very good compared to how they were.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely I guess you could say, like, a petering out feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe that's...
It feels like they've run through all their bits of, like, the intro, and it's literally just... Like, this week did have a funny bit, which is Chris speaking up in his intro and just being, "This is no-nonsense Felix week." And then like, Chad just says something, and Chris just cracks a smile and starts giggling like he's fucking Liam when you say anything to him.
Jeez.
He literally did the Liam thing of, like, it's just quiet. You just say something really
and
fucking...
with the Zack and Cody intro.
Yeah.
Look at him. All I need to do is still the object of it in there.
Oh, are you sure? Because earlier I said Phoenix sounds like Felix, and he started laughing.
He did.
Leaves in a giggly mood, bro.
I'd also like to say, I love how right after the intro, Eddie hits us with the... Okay, yeah, we ended on Vermilion hitting Pike. How much damage did he do?
Yeah, Eddie's being once again like, so what even actually happened last time? Because God forbid we have like a map or a program that tracks HP or anything like that. That'd be like a fucking hassle.
Okay, can I talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
I really wish that they would show... I really feel like this is a huge detriment of the show of, like, please be more clear on what's going on. And I know that might sound a little... I mean, we're not the best at it, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, you can look at the video of us playing, and I think you can make out, like, oh, well, Felix has this much health left. He has this much... Like, it's not hard. Like, I want to know what's going on.
Ben, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
What I feel... And this is very obvious from something that they say later on into this combat encounter, is that, like, you're saying, oh man, I can't really tell what's going on. They don't fucking know what's going on either. Like, this encounter is full on theater of the mind.
Oh yeah, because this first episode, which I should say is season 2, episode 11, "Not Today," which the wiki informed me was a pun on saying "not today," but by putting Hana there instead, which I find is very comedic.
Honestly,
parentheses, villainous vermilion, which I think is very funny because it's alliteration.
I would like to say, everyone at home, big hand. They didn't call it "Not Today, Satan." I think that was a lot of, willpower on their part. So I think we should let them have
Not Today, Salem.
I think "Not Today, Salem"
even
would have been a pretty funny, would have been a pretty good one.
Yeah,
I think instead we should give a big disappointed stare to them for not playing into it.
So
what's this footsying around it bullshit?
So this is gonna sound really awkward in us explaining how this episode happens, because almost all of it is them fighting Vermilion, and by fighting I mean it's not even an actual combat encounter and just theater of the mind. So we have to explain them explaining something they literally say they don't understand. Chad just says near the end of this, "What's happening?"
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, I just gotta say, I went through this whole first episode, and then it ended, and I was just like, man, what happened to Vermilion? What'd he do this episode? I don't remember. I know he had, like, Eddie basically acted for him, like, at 5 points in the whole episode. Yeah. While the characters are doing a bunch of nonsense for 30 minutes.
Yeah. They get a point where they're in a chase scene, and it ends by them just basically, like, spoiler alert, this will end with them just driving off, and I presume Vermilion got tired? or was unable. No, they outsped him. I remember very specifically.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say the other thing I remember specifically because it's a spoiler of a really funny moment. But like, once again, we I think we went on a very detailed explanation of our grievances with these scenes last time because there was also another epic chase scene, and yeah, there's one here too.
It's literally all they do.
Combat based. It's just once again no clear like goal they need to clear. Just ends when Eddie goes, "It's over."
It's so psychopathic. Literally every episode is either a chase scene or a heist scene.
Yeah.
The next episode after this is a heist. Basically.
Yeah.
That really fucks me up. I think they like doing it. Like they have to, right?
I guess it's
they keep saying it was so fun.
It's either that or Eddie. It's either that or Eddie's like even more of a hack than I thought at the beginning of this.
What I don't understand is like the episode starts basically with Vermilion, kicking Pike.
So actually,
why are we not just jumping into combat? Why are we doing whatever?
So
whole episode.
I had a theory. I had a theory on that. Is that Eddie? He said twice throughout this Theater of the Mind combat is that we're about to roll initiative.
And they kept going, no. This is the funniest thing to me.
But we never do, because I think every time Eddie's about to do it, a character goes in some elaborate, action, so it delays it another couple of minutes, and then, someone else kind of was like, well, he just got a turn, I want to do something. And it literally never ends, because Eddie never puts his foot down, and so no! Roll initiative!
Yeah, so this whole scene is combat. I'm just gonna say it. It is combat, but there isn't a turn order, and they just kind of bounce around. Like they're vaguely all getting a turn, and Vermilion is getting a turn. But like Blake said, there's twice where he's like, "Well, should we roll initiative or something?" And like a player's like, "No, not yet." Like they don't want it to be combat because they think I think in their minds, if they roll for initiative, they think they have to stay in a gridded area and can't escape or something. That or, which they talk about in the second episode, they're like, we managed to dodge having combat with him. I think they're just literally trying to fuck Eddie over and not initiate combat.
I would
because
too.
They're allowed to do more.
I would too. After that fucking goddamn caravan, I wouldn't want to have combat either.
It's true. It's really funny.
But I'd also like to actually note something at the exact beginning of the episode after the intro is where Eddie notes where everyone is. In that Pike just got kicked in the room with Taupe. Phoenix is walking into the room where Pike ran into. So Phoenix is near the door of that room. Pike is getting launched close by him, from the other side. Asher is by a fucking window on the other side of the room, I think. And then Arustro's on the roof. And I'm just sitting there being trying to rack my brain, being did they fucking describe their different entry points last episode? I don't fucking remember that. I don't remember Arustro going to the roof.
Yeah, I don't really remember when they exactly set that shit up.
So it just, I was like, okay, oh yeah, Phoenix and Pike are in the room. Wait, Ross was on the roof, far away. What? Why?
Yeah, it's sniping.
That's the question.
It's just so fucking baffling to me. And once again, Ben's theory, I think, from last time being did they have a falling out with Tailspire? Why are they fucking not on Tailspire? Why do we not get to see Tailspire
This is what I'm saying, I just want to know what the fuck's going on. And sometimes, I'm sorry, bros, describing isn't enough if you're doing this for, an audience. Especially for them, because this is on their fucking first thing or whatever. You have to pay money to fucking see this, right?
Yeah. They're certainly not
fuck them.
Continually establishing enough for a scene that is, it turns into a combat encounter. So, generally you want at least an abbreviation or, a representation to a degree.
Well,
so, I'm really shocked at how they don't initiate Tailspire for this entire thing.
Yeah, and here, this is
wait, no, they have to be using Tailspire because they're doing dice rolls.
No,
I think they're just in an empty map.
Yeah, they're using like that
Tailspire.
that grassy little map they use when they show them rolling some.
Yeah, why don't they just use that map as like a size, like just like say like you're about like this distance, we'll use this map as a representative, and I'll describe these things around. Like, they don't even do that.
I guess they're just not fucking smart. That would be very helpful because at least you can like focus your eyes on something pertaining to distance. It just helps focus your mind. But Liam is right, and like, why the fuck did they not just roll initiative immediately after doing Pike's damage from getting kicked? Or, okay, so here's what I would do if I'm in this situation as Eddie. Pike got kicked, and we ended on Pike taking an action which led to him getting kicked. Then I'd be like, okay, all the other players, you can do one thing as long as it's not too complicated, and then I'm rolling initiative. Like, give them a chance to do something, but say it's like, you can't, like, do anything too complicated. You can, like, get into a new position if you want, like, react in some minor way, and then I'm doing initiative.
Alright, I want to throw my grappling hook and tell everybody to get on.
Jump on, everyone. Yeah, there's I have another detail, but this grappling hook shit's so funny to me because Chad started to deal with Eddie like he's a genie when he's dealing with because he like is so autistic with his description of the grappling hook. Like I was getting annoyed at first listening to it, and then Eddie did immediately try and go strength roll. He's like, "No, Eddie, I used the ceiling as leverage. I made this whole thing specifically worded so you can't fucking make me do a strength roll. I'm a rogue." And Eddie conceded because Chad got really fucking, like, detailed with it. And I'm just like, the whole time I just have that Walter White face as I'm like, this whole process is so aggravating that there's a player being this, like, feeling they have to be this anal about it only to be proven right because Eddie busts out the ghoulish grin.
It's so fucking funny that Chad is actually proven to be correct in doing that because it's just
what a meta.
Because Eddie is so fucking awful that he's going to try and fuck you by making you roll terrible things.
What an awful meta they've developed and play within.
Yeah. Yes, Eddie, I'm trying to do this dexterfully. So don't fucking get screwed over because you're making me roll a fucking stat I don't have.
Dexterousness is not involved in grappling hooks. Think about this realistically, Chad.
But something that Eddie mentioned before all of that, like as like everyone's thinking on how they're gonna do that, is specifically about Vermilion, which is he said, Pike, you just know that Vermilion's like using her aura and kind of you can see that look. As he's like peering into the future, or like using Pike's semblance, and I stopped the episode and like got legitimately upset because I won't let Eddie just handle it the fact that Pike just gets what he's doing. Does Pike's semblance have a visual indicator? Vermilion is also wearing a fucking mask. How do you fucking read anything on him?
I think you could interpret it as that Pike has like some sort of like connection to some sort of hand of fate, and therefore he felt the other guy also using that same hand of fate aura semblance ability.
It just seems so
kind of what Eddie said. So I'm kind of in the middle ground on this issue. Well, hold on. I think I'm not so much going in your direction, Liam. I think the implication is that Vermilion is connected to the person who he's borrowing the semblance of. Either it's implied like this. Either he's connected to them, so Pike's like feeling it activate, and that's just like an explanation. Yeah. Like Pike tilts his head to see things, he feels it activate. Or he's implying that because Pike is so familiar with his own semblance and stuff, he could like intuit that someone else is using it. But I think it's a connection thing.
Yeah, I mean he could like be channeling it through Pike. Like via his semblance.
I guess my biggest issue is it felt so lazy from Eddie in the way that he just like basically was like, yeah, you just feel it, like not why you feel it, what it feels like. You just know he's using your semblance.
Well, I think this.
If I was Eddie. I wanted to show off like him using someone's semblance. I probably would have chosen.
If this was Phoenix or Asher, it would be completely different because those are very visual semblances. You
should have been Phoenix.
You can easily tell if someone uses either of their semblances. That
Ben,
just
what were you gonna say?
you just get it.
I was gonna say that this kind of just stems toward where like God, I fucking hate Pike's. I really don't like Pike's semblance. I think it's so. I just think it's so dumb.
Well,
It's always been a problem child among your semblances.
Like it's just like such a thing that you obviously like. You two are friends. I think. I mean, I
They're
don't know they are, but I mean, it sounds something. It's one of those things where it sounds cool in concept, I guess, but you know, like, guys, think about the integrity of your series. Like, I know that's kind of weird to be like, you know, you write for this show, right? But you also want to play an RPG in it. That can be kind of weird, but I mean, you gotta think like, come on, don't do stuff like that, right?
I gotta say,
It raises too many questions.
I also gotta say, Pike's semblance is awful. But
It's terrible.
Just finishing my point on this is, I guess I'm looking at this from a, like, theoretical standpoint, which is completely fucking pointless when it comes to fucking Eddie, of like, how could this be better? The answer would be, it's not made by fucking Eddie. And like,
yeah.
if I was doing this, and I guess decided to just completely be just super gay and make a character who literally just copies your semblance, it just seems so boring. If you're going to deliberately copy someone's semblance that doesn't have a big visual indicator like Phoenix or Asher, to just say you notice them using it, because it's like, it could be like, say you start combat, you could make it interesting because it's like, oh, he's like looking around a bit. What the fuck is he doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like you could make it more interesting by playing with that, like, meta information of, like, them not knowing in character. But then you had the problem is, I don't think I could trust these players to not use meta information at all.
Yeah, exactly. It seems to really be, like you said, it really is mostly just a very lazy sort of throwaway. Which, I mean, Eddie's always been really bad at, like, taking advantage of these details and moments and actually figuring out what he's doing. Like, he certainly has ideas, but he doesn't understand how to really explore them, it feels like. I wanted to say, at the start of this episode, this is kind of on the same point, especially with Pike's semblance. He did make a point of, like, stressing in the recap bit himself about that weird feeling Pike got, we talked about last week, about semblance after, like, seeing that picture. Like, Eddie's really still on that feeling about it. And they're all just like, yeah, Eddie, that happened, and it's not really touched again. Like, I really feel like Eddie especially has a lot more weight put on certain ideas in his own head that are not relayed well to the players or the audience. And we're not really... And he plays them, like, so close to his chest that they end up not affecting anything.
Yeah.
It's like trying to slow burn a topic, but realizing you're just making it so no one understands or is interested in it, basically.
I mean, with that thing specifically, with like the Pike thing from the last episode,
Mhm.
I feel like that's just a case of like Eddie trying to like do something that Carrie has no fucking clue what he's even trying to do.
Yeah.
Like maybe this is like a plot point you want to talk about with your player, Eddie. Like, hey, I'm gonna go this angle. Does that fit with your backstory? Is that good?
Yeah.
How would you think you might react?
Yeah.
Probably gonna throw it in, expect it, and maybe do something with it.
I would say you either have to do that or just do what you're doing with confidence and like make sure if you're going to do something of like try and hint at a plot point, don't beat around the bush. Be pretty heavy-handed with like kind of forcing it, or else it's just gonna be ignored because the players aren't gonna know what the fuck you're doing. They can't read your fucking mind. They either have to be in the know or you have to make it explicitly clear that you're doing something and like make it a part of what's going on.
That's my point, is that he's very bad at relaying information to the players for them to grasp things.
Yeah, like, I don't...
kind of towards like how Liam's saying, like, you should either kind of have mentioned that you have an idea you want to get into is like one thing you can do, If it's like a backstory detail thing, that's definitely something you want to do. But if you have an idea that's just for them, you should just in the moment, like, you can still find ways to have it be coy in how it's being set up without completely blinding them. But I mean, that'll obviously depend on player to player and how good you are at relaying these things. And if you know you're not, you should definitely like come up with an alternative way to explain this. But Eddie throws caution to the wind and does this shit, and no one really does anything with it.
Yeah. And in this case, it's probably like the worst instance of like, oh yeah, you get a feeling in your head and only you notice, and you don't even, I'm not making you externally show that you're even being affected. Like maybe like it may be a bit asshole to be like, oh, Pike, you collapse. You're taken over by this force for a moment. You know, and then the players could ask about what the fuck happened and force carry into doing something.
Exactly. And we actually, I'm realizing this just as we're talking about this and kind of smiling to myself, because we actually do have a term for this, what this is called. Oh. This is called a skill test. It's something we've probably heard us joke about in episodes once in a while. I don't know if we've ever really gone over it in one of our sessions.
Ah, good old skill test.
We kind of came up with this term as like a shit post. To throw at each other when they do things, or what we've noticed people real. Do. In this is 100% real. It's not like a role or anything, not like an actual mechanic. Yeah. It's literally like this. It's like putting the player. It's generally easier to do as the GM to players, but players can do it to the GM too. An example of a player doing it to a GM would be investigating something out of like picking up on something and deciding like. You're in a town and going, I have an idea to investigate this thing that's out of the box. I'm going towards it right now. That's like skill testing the GM to see if on the fly they're like, oh, okay, let me see if I can match your idea or understand the best choice of action. If I need you to like be nudged away from it, or if I need be like, oh, that's actually a good point. Let me think of that. Or for a player, a GM hitting them with a player, like a lot of the times for us, it's like an NPC saying or doing something and picking up if the player can intuit from context clues about either the NPC's attitude or the situation on, is there a really obvious way to fuck up and miss something? Yeah. For instance, the most obvious one is characters go through something, NPC seems a little off, or the player just asks in the first place, hey, are you doing all right? NPC goes, yeah, I'm fine. And that's a skill test. Yeah.
You'll find...
It's pretty hard. Pretty hard test to pass sometimes.
Sometimes it can be. You know what? And we came up with the term because it's not really like a good or negative thing, and it can be kind of BM to do a skill test. To be honest, I mean it's kind of rude to like. It's kind of fucking around and seeing if people. It's basically going. I'm fucking around and seeing if people are like on their toes about subjects.
Yeah,
so it can be kind of mean to do.
Because one thing you have to realize playing D&D is that people aren't real in the sense that, like, no one's going to literally, like, obtusely, like an actual person, not tell you something forever. Like... There is like a magic combination of words in a sense to get someone to explain stuff, or at least further development of something. It's not literally like you're like a player can't do everything they can and just get stonewalled by an NPC and like be punished for it. If say
assuming you're in a game not run by someone incompetent or who hates you.
Let's take Greg as a run for now.
Let's make that clear. If someone hates you or you guys aren't that good at D&D, that can happen.
Let's take Greg as a run for an example. Like, say I was talking to one of the Shade students. I could go up to them and I think something's wrong, like from the way they're acting, and I ask them, and even if at the end of that conversation I don't really learn anything about why it's wrong. I still passed by the fact that I picked up that something probably was wrong and at least attempted, because then that showed that, one, I was paying attention, and two, if they still didn't tell me anything, it's still progress because I still made the attempt, and then that will lead to something probably happening in the future. And you'll see skill checks like that or tests like that happen literally all throughout all of Records of Remnant and the New Dawn Pirates. All the time. It's literally just like, it's just stuff that happens when you're role-playing and everyone's not a donkey-brained idiot. Like,
yeah, but it's a funny term to throw around.
Well, yeah, no.
Kind
yeah.
of dickish.
No, well,
but that's where it basically came from, is like going, will they pick up on this or not? And then there's the diminutive version of skill testing, which is just someone talks to a character in a way you didn't think was smart, and you go, fucking fail the skill test. But I found this term to be very applicable to D&D in general, because it's sort of like an improv thing. And there's not a lot of them in Grimm Campaign, but this is certainly one of the first times I feel like Eddie's actually skill tested the player, because a lot of the times Eddie's doesn't really have a skill test. Like, they try and break into a building you would think is a skill test, but most of the time any amount of their plans end up with being, well, lol, there was a turret installed in there. That's not really a skill test. That's just like a dungeon encounter. It's more of this like presenting an I generally think skill tests and lean more towards, or at least the way we refer to them, lean more towards improv and role-playing sections.
Yeah, I would think something like the person break and stuff like that. I think of that more like a just plot point, or like almost puzzle. Like, skill test to me at least makes me think of like as you said, actually talking to a character, like a dialogue, more than like just a situation like you have to figure out a solution towards. It's more picking up something about something someone says in the moment.
Yeah, and I think that the whole point of the explanation and why I wanted to go on this tangent is because this is the first time I really think we're seeing them in any meaningful form. And last session, you get the result of Eddie being mind broken. That Carrie didn't pick up on one of the most obvious flags for, like, to Eddie, the most obvious flag of investigate what's happening. But to the players, Eddie basically said a bunch of vague shit, and Carrie really didn't feel like scratching the surface of it, which I'd say is a bit his fault. But certainly wasn't helped along, and now we've entered this weird situation where I think either Eddie must have realized that there's no fucking point in doing that, or it just isn't cognizant of the situation in the first place. So he's just doing shit like, you just know he's using a semblance.
Yeah, it's just basically I see him do that, and I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed because it reiterates, whatever I come to know, what we will all come to know about the series. It's just like, they literally have no interest in actually trying to do anything more interesting than that.
Yep.
But is it Eddie's fault or is it Carrie's fault?
Yeah, exactly. That's the interesting question, and I think
it's probably both.
I think in today's Eddie takes the larger burden of it.
100%.
But I will 100% cut him some slack on the last time this happened. His was a bit stilted in how he presented it, but Carrie 100% dropped, even asking about something that seems really important.
I think
feels bad, Eddie.
I think it always takes two. Sometimes the burden is not equal. Last week, as Noah said, I think Carrie was more at fault. This week, I think Eddie's more at fault. But as the GM, you're probably you're always kind of like where the buck stops, and it's like usually the fault more lies, I believe, with the GM, unless the player is like absolutely fucking atrocious.
Right.
But like that would be like a consistent thing you just notice throughout. Like you just like come to be like, at a point it's the GM's fault after like so many episodes for even interacting with that player at that point. And thinking they can do something. But yeah. Anything we want to talk about before we get into this thrilling theater of the mind?
God.
No, just all the talk about skill checks makes me just think poor Ivy.
She didn't deserve it. She came out. Liam, as I will always joke, she came out better for it.
She didn't deserve it. She didn't deserve
that.
Ron.
That is where the origination of.
Hey Ron, you want to check in on the? No, it's fine.
The time.
No, I think it originated more in the Persona game a long time ago with Andreas, but that was the proliferation. That's true.
I guess like in the context of all of us, like together. It is Ron being stopped by a wooden door.
if you would get that joke if you were a fan and watched the New Dawn Pirates.
Liam, I'm gonna tell you something, and this is, I've kept this ever since. I don't think I've ever actually told you. Is in the moment as you were walking up to that door, I messaged Noah saying, "Don't worry, he's not gonna get through it." Not because I wasn't gonna let you, because I knew you just were gonna walk away. If I said like, "Don't worry about it."
Oh, that's funny. God, awful.
It just made me think. I've never fucking said that. I don't think I've ever told you that, and might as well say it publicly in the podcast for funnies.
I think some things are better left unspoken. That's pretty mean, dude. But
no, I think that's pretty funny.
No, it's fucking hilarious. Anyway, you guys are here for the Grimm Campaign. Oh God, wait, that sounds awful. I don't want to accuse our listeners of being here for the Grimm Campaign.
Don't worry, don't worry, folks. Another thing I noted down. Next week is the finale. Besides the extra one where it's like them at the convention. Next week
That's
is
in the second episode, isn't that?
And the 2 episodes are like a combined 2.5 hours, so I hate you guys for making
that's pretty
shit
pain.
one day.
Yeah, we fucking stumbled in on this. We're gonna have to figure that out.
Well, we can figure that out later. Maybe we'll break it up into 2, and then like the second one will be like a grand recap of what we feel about this.
Yeah, let's get back to these fucking episodes.
Yeah.
Please.
So what happened is he kicks Carrie, and then he uses his semblance, and then looks at Arastra. Because he wants to find the gauntlet of power.
Okay, Vermilion Radic is a man of efficiency and pragmatism. So his actions, as I described last time, are only in short descriptions that are exact and precise. Which is very funny to me, because that's actually very fitting for the character. I think Eddie has a really weird idea, but he establishes it well with Vermilion. And Vermilion's just like, laser focused, or Rostra has something I want. And they're like, uh-oh. Now, I want to remind everyone, this is something I only noticed in retrospect thinking about this episode. Carrie started off this episode paralyzed. And that's why Phoenix at one point runs forward to grab him and Tope. And it's never established that Carrie becomes unparalyzed at any point of this episode. Pike just at one point starts shooting again. But ostensibly, they just forgot that paralyzed how it works, and they just thought he couldn't move on his own. Because I believe Phoenix is carrying him for primarily the rest of this combat encounter.
Well, see, no, a round passed in their mind. Everyone took an action, so now Pike's
everyone did something.
Yeah. So yeah, laser focus on Arastra. So Arastra, of course, then. Let's see. Phoenix comes in, grabs those 2, and swings on the rope. Yeah, okay, and of course, Arastra here is like, I need to deal with this guy. I'm gonna use my gun. And she's like, Eddie, what does spending 20 ore on the gun do? And he's like, well, it makes it deal an extra like D8 damage. It's D8, right? Yeah, I think it's D8 damage. It might be D10.
No. It was specifically 4D6 because Chad like made a fucking like big face.
No, that was after.
This is after. This is something else. I'm getting to it. Don't worry. The cannon would deal an extra D10 damage for 20 aura, which Laura goes.
Oh yeah, she doesn't do it. That's why.
Yeah. Even Laura get notes in this moment. Oh wow, this cannon sucks. So even Laura notices that Eddie's magic item is really fucking bad because the cost efficiency of casting spells, 20 aura. Aura is like, these aura points are like mini sorcery points to a degree. Like that is like so many spells in comparison to having a D10 or 2D10 cannon for like a combat encounter. Is fucking embarrassing. So Laura Yates, proud of her, round of applause. Even she notices. She goes, Eddie, that's dumb. Instead, I'm going to do something that's definitely not dumb. I'm going to use my dust to cast Cloud of Daggers. My
Cloud
favorite
of
dust
daggers.
Uses a metal dust or something.
It's
No, no,
how
no,
do you
no.
float daggers?
Gravity dust.
I'm taking a cut here to go. No, not an edit in the episode. I'm cutting in here with a comment. Chris Henson comments, I feel like Arastra's quote-unquote spells need to be more rubyized. I don't understand how Cloud of Daggers would work with dust. Maybe have it be a cloud of some kind of dust like wind daggers or something. So even one of the, and there's like 9 of these, commenters is pointing out at this point, like, okay, like, Firebolt, yeah, but Cloud of Daggers, like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like,
And they're right. It's
They're
pretty
right.
dumb.
it's a really weird one. Under the category, it's put in the metal dust segment. That is true, under their rules section.
You know,
But, like,
that guy
Okay,
saying
but-
wind dust is way smarter. Just like a
Yeah.
big wind that just like sharp
Yes.
cuts of wind.
Yeah.
Noah,
That's
remember.
way cooler.
Noah, remember. Fuck, what is it? It's metal. Gravity dust is mistakenly marked as metal dust
dust.
on their character sheets.
Yeah,
It's
there's no
so funny.
it's so fucking funny. So this is, it's metal no idea what it is, and no one in the moment, obviously no one in the show fucking cares. What they do all care is that she's a 64 damage, and there's like a whole minute of them going, "Oh my god, you're feeling 64 damage," and they left that in the episode because like there's nothing in this episode, so we're just cutting out like these side tangents. It does 14 damage, and that is apparently like nothing to Vermilion Radic.
Also, I'm pretty sure by Raw you're not supposed to do damage with Cloud of Daggers immediately.
No, it's I believe it would happen on his turn. It's one of those spells that's like
Otherwise, it would
creates
do
a
damage
zone.
twice.
Yeah, it's one of those damage zone spells, and I always forget what the actual categorization for those in 5e is. But yeah, I think it would happen on his turn. Luckily, though, we're in the middle of funny non-combat combat, so I guess it could do whatever the fuck she wants to do.
Oh yeah, this
so.
is Theater of the Mind horseshit. This is, hey dude, you want to go outside and play?
This
is me playing Pokemon with my friends.
And
when
I,
was
and
11.
I don't want to sound like a faggot. Like, oh man, God, look at how they're role playing. Haha. No,
Yeah.
bros, they literally have a program for this.
They have a
We
program.
use Roll20.
I want to
like,
point out
come on,
also
man.
another fucking awesome part of this. This works so weird with their system because they're dusk. Like, I believe the way the Huntsman class works, I'm going off my memories of it, but as you all remember, I had a very autistic breakdown that one episode, so I should know it, is that I believe all their spells basically scale automatically, so this is a 3rd level cast, Cloud of Daggers. This is super Cloud of Daggers.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
so funny.
It's so fucking funny.
Oh, it should do more than 46 damage then.
No, it's a level 2 spell that deals 4d4 by default. Is up by 2d4 for each spell level. So no, that's why it's dealing 6d4.
Oh,
I had to
okay,
check
okay.
because it sounded wrong.
64?
I learned. Yeah, thank you, Blake. Hold on, let's say that like 5 more times and waste a minute so you guys can get the emulated episode experience.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I just found that whole segment hilarious because, like, we have these magic artifacts and they're worse than, like, the basic spells because Eddie made them, like, really pathetic. Except for, like, well, one later that I'll talk about because I hate it, but that's next episode.
Later, it's almost over.
And then Eddie, because he's retarded, is like... Vermilion notices after you hit him with the laser gun, and goes after you. And they're like, Eddie, she didn't use the laser gun. He's like, oh, well, you know, it's just the bracer anyway. Fuck. Like,
I fucking love that fucking
Based.
That is literally just like, uh-oh, Eddie made
literally not paying attention, Eddie.
Eddie made a stinky, uh-oh.
Well, he's just like, wait, why wouldn't you use the cool relic? It did so much damage.
There's so much damage, and I need him to have a reason to pursue you specifically. Well, I didn't use it. Well, he sees it on you and figures out that it's a magical gun relic. Why? Well, I have Pike's semblance, so I can explain literally anything. Lamau. Fuck. Me. Let's see, what happens next? Oh yeah, there's a really... He misses with, like, Scorching Ray. Or he has, like, really probably has like 16 AC or something because he misses with like a 14 and a 12. 18 hits him.
So,
oh yeah.
Can I say something about this?
Yeah, sure, please, always.
So, now that we're like halfway into this combat in quotes, obviously, I personally feel like you can do theater of the mind stuff fairly well. It's not like a taboo by any means. Like you'll see this a lot in RWBY where it's like me, Noah, Ben, like sometimes when we're describing things, we'll get pretty goddamn flashy and like detail oriented. Like you can see this. I think a specific example is in the before the Vital Festival, the fight Noah shows, the show fight with Gale and Athena versus Leo and fuck, I'm blanking.
Oh, my
Historia.
That sounds pretty pog, but I should go watch that.
Thanks.
Like even then, Noah at least showed them like on the arena map.
It's true.
It's true. You can do theater of the mind, but you really need something to let people like at least latch on to something. Even the players specifically.
I think the minimum you need is just pictures on screen of relevant characters, basically.
Yeah, I know, Richard, you do. But what
you didn't?
But what I actually mean is like you can't do what they're doing.
Like shit talking my Hauser and Paul fight against my Kappa. Damn.
What?
Nothing, dude. Go ahead.
You can't do what they're doing when you're them. They're not capable.
Blake, is your point basically just they're bad? That's the point. Because I think that's hilarious and true.
Maybe.
You're kind of getting to a roundabout way of saying theater of the mind's fine. They're just retarded and bad.
Well, yeah, but like it didn't sound so fancy when I just come out and say it.
I don't know. I think we might have earned our stripes long enough now to just say that.
Okay.
Hey, in case you missed the last episode of Supernova Safari when we talked about how bad theater of the mind chasing car, they didn't get better next episode when they immediately did another one.
Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that. They are really fucking terrible and can't do theater of the mind because their squirrel brains can't fucking pay attention to what anyone is doing. And, like,
True.
Eddie is also the most anal motherfucker. So, like, if you're, like, say, if you're not being Chad and literally detailed being, like, anti-any fucking details in there, being like, you can't fucking make me roll strength, I tethered myself. Like, Eddie will fuck you over being like, oh, you went to go get Pike, but, well, you said... You didn't specifically say you had another hand free. Like, one has taupe, one has a rope. You're gonna have to roll me, like, dexterity to see if you can pick him up and hold on to him and he doesn't flop down like a fish. Like Eddie will anally fuck you over any small detail. If he sees an in, he will just get in there and burrow into your fucking soul to try and make you roll a shitty skill check.
Yeah.
It's awful. I fucking
It's a skill check all away.
I could not fucking imagine. I could not imagine playing with someone like Eddie in control of my life. If Liam tried that in the 5e game, I'd literally tell him to go fuck himself. Just try it, fucking Liam. None of us will have it.
Wait till you get to the actual skill check hallway. It'll be very fun.
I can't wait.
Okay, the gnomes can get away with it because that's...
Alright. We got a fucking episode to review. Jesus Christ. Okay. Right. I know this section's so thrilling that there's so much to cover that we can go on long tangents. Because we don't want to talk about this episode! This episode sucked!
Can I just read the 2 paragraphs we have left in the wiki and we can end the episode? This episode's only 4 paragraphs. One of them.
Go for it, Liam. Damn, Liam, go for it!
Where were we at?
We're at
Oh, yeah,
Roster
alright.
corrects Beaven Keister.
All right, Arastra, after being having Vermilion's attention fixated upon her after not using the bracer, calls up Beaven Keister to pull up a getaway van while Pike aims his drill at Vermilion and shoots fire dust at him. Two of his shots go long, but one impacts the
Yeah,
hand.
I'm gonna kill you.
Forcing him to let go of the rope that he had.
What happens next?
Oh, well, Vermilion lands on Phoenix and jumps off of him, launching himself towards Arastra once again.
Okay, we need to talk. Hold on, pause. We need to talk about this because in this part of the fight, when Vermilion moves again, this isn't just anything. This is a legendary action.
Oh, I love that because Eddie's like Vermilion's using a legendary action, so fucking.
Oh, I'm up, huh?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
5e man.
Don't just say that just because of that. I gotta be honest, I kind of forgot he did a legendary action. That kind of fucks me up.
All right, back to Blake then.
Okay.
I like that
Oh,
every
back to
player's reaction was just, "That's not a thing, Eddie. That's bullshit."
I do a wizard.
Literally, I have this noted down almost more for the fact of their reaction. Like, Vermilion having legendary actions is like he's not really selling me on it. I know he's important in why Eddie's doing. He's just not selling me enough. But it's more funny to see that everyone in the group reveals they've like literally never played 5th edition. Ostensibly, like, this is the level we're working with. Like, I know they make fuck ups all the time, but you still assume they had a passing knowledge of 5e and they're just letting Eddie go. But it's like, no, all of them are like, Eddie, that's not real. Yeah, I'm doing a mythic counter action, Carrie says, and there's a funny picture of Pike with a wizard hat. Like, everyone makes fun of him for using a 5e mechanic, and I would make fun of him for a different reason, but it's really way more revealing that they have no idea what this means. And it's also weird, because he's doing legendary actions, and right after this they point out that we still haven't rolled initiative. What the fuck's going on, bros? Those are combat actions, but whatever, Vermilion uses a legendary action, because he's the boss.
God.
Yeah. So 5e bros, he's at that level. I'm just glad he didn't say fucking lair action. Would have made me shit myself laughing. I don't think that goes too well in RWBY, but you know, I guess a big Grimm might have a lair action.
What do you know, huh?
Literally, what do I know? Fuck me. Yeah, after the amazing legendary action, they continue the chase for a while where they're just basically trying to like they're still in the warehouse at this point. And they're just trying to like push him away. And Phoenix like just goes towards the garage and uses Pike as like a literal battering ram with his drill to like blow through the door. And they run in there, and while they're running in there, we have a really epic segment, which is 5 minutes of logistical explanation, because they try and do a team attack, and Chad and Laura try and do a team attack, and Laura's not really participating in the like fact outside saying what she's doing, and Chad is trying to remember how team attacks work, and he keeps talking, and that might sound weird because this is an audio primary show, but he does just keep talking. As in Chad's like, I want to do this and like do this part and like do this part, and I want to add this feature and this feature to it and like this part, like we can do this, Rosser, you do this, like yeah, do that. And Eddie's got this slow creeping sensation on his face, and I know it's happening because the player's just asking to do a fuck ton of things at once. And Eddie doesn't have the balls to say that's not how the rules work at all. Like Ryan,
you're not in combat. There are no rules.
Exactly, but like that, Eddie's realizing he's fucked himself because he can't say, "Well, it's combat, so you can't do all that." He's realized, "Oh no, if they just keep describing actions, I can't stop them, can I?"
They're too powerful.
And so like it's really startling, and Eddie just basically concedes and goes, okay, no, you guys don't have to do all the separate rules of the team attack roll. You guys could each just do a roll for it. Because that would be complicated.
No, I think it's specifically because probably when they did team attacks before, they didn't want to keep doing them. Because I specifically remember the one in the cave with Pike and Phoenix, where the first roll was fine, but then Phoenix rolled good, and then Pike rolled and he rolled shitty, so it literally didn't do shit.
Yeah, well, the players realize that team effects, as we learned in the episode, are terrible.
Yeah.
It's a terrible system, and so yes, exactly. And so when Asher says, can I have every flavor on my pizza, can I have every topping on my fucking pizza and a scoop of each flavor? Eddie doesn't want to say no, because he wants his people to do team attacks, because that's like a RWBY thing. So he basically just goes, yeah, okay. But Eddie, of course, magnanimous ghoul he is, always has a monkey's paw, because he's like, he adds on another little detail as he's trying to blind Vermilion, Asher with his semblance. He goes, wow, Vermilion actually has a disadvantage against blinding effects. I don't know why, Eddie doesn't say why. And Chad starts clapping as he feels his monkey brain being activated. But then Eddie smiles and goes, but he's unaffected, because he rolled high on both. Awesome. What's rolling high? Apparently a 15 is high enough. What the fuck is the DC on this shit? How low is it?
That is fucked up.
We're like level 4 or 5 by now. Like, you should have I guess in 5th edition you might be like a 14, but shit, dude. How high is Vermilion's stats? I mean, like, a 22 and a 15 is a fucking wide spread in roll stats. I don't know. So, that just doesn't work. But Arastra, like, shoots something else and it distracts him long enough. Because the team attack has 2 parts to it, I guess. Even though that's not really what the rules are, like, about. They're, like, combo together, but they said fuck the rules. Because Eddie doesn't want to read them right now.
Well, yeah, it's also, like, the big thing is, since this is theater of the mind, even if the players actually fuck something up, it will just keep going a couple seconds, and then they'll just describe something new. Like, there's no real failure state. Like, Eddie doesn't have the balls to literally grab Pike by the head and smash him into the ground and drag him to Vermilion's sex dungeon.
Yeah, so...
nothing will happen. Eddie doesn't have it in him to punish them to that degree, and since that's the only thing that could happen, because at least if you're doing actual combat, like, yeah, your character can get fucking downed. And you feel like shit if that happens. You don't want that to happen.
You feel like shit. You feel bad.
Well, yeah. You feel like you're fucked up, so you don't want that to happen. But
I normally feel like, damn, I got downed. I'm not so. I don't take 6 personally.
But if it's theater of the mind, it was like theater of the mind. Who gives a fucking shit? You're just gonna describe. Okay, I'd like to throw my grappling hook out again, and I guess try and get on the car. Ugh. Fuck, this section's awful.
Well, let's speed through it.
Well, no, we're at the end, because the equivalent of what happens is they're like, Phoenix crushes a garage door and takes like D6 damage from falling for some reason. And he's like, whoa, good thing there's a car here. They all jump in the car. Rosser like falls on it at one point and has to like run back in like it's a fucking comedy show. And just whips around and shoots Vermilion with one of her busted stun arrows. And then he's like, oh, fuck, he's stunned, and they just drive away. Damage taken by player characters. Damage from Arastra from hitting a car and falling off. That's not moving. She just, like, jumped on it and fell because she rolled low. So Phoenix jumped down, took falling damage, D6. Carrie took the initial hit, and that's what Vermilion, the scary boss, did to them. So one hit and the other 2 damages from their own, like, autism.
I have some funny comments that are throughout the ending section. Trying to think of like what each of these pertain to. Chris, when he was describing getting to the car, did a little internet reviewer run on his camera for a second. He literally ran in place a little bit, and it made me think of, well, you know the ones. It's those people we all love on the internet that review comic books. And I thought it was really funny, and I'm gonna try and make a GIF out of it.
Nice.
Okay, I hope it's playing right now.
What?
Make sure to put it to the fourth wall intro.
I don't know what you're talking about, though. I think you're psychopath.
What's also
sure it's funny.
What's also really funny is when Asher tries to do something cool against Vermilion.
You mean always?
Yes, he tries to blind him, and then Eddie hits him with, oh, that's good. Vermilion has disadvantage against blinds.
Blake.
What?
Blake,
we
we
already talked about
Wait,
this.
did we?
We already talked about this.
Like, this was literally 2 minutes ago. Oh, shit.
Oh no, Blake has disadvantage against memory. Fuck, bros.
God,
You rolled high.
Wait,
It's fine, he's on
where are we at?
We're at the
End
end.
of the episode. Blake is just not listening to me. I'm gonna hang myself. Blake has me muted on Discord. I knew it.
Wait, did you guys talk about everything?
You talked about it with us, I'm pretty sure, didn't you? Did you get up and start lifting weights like the Chad you are and just ignore me?
Did I?
Bros, I don't know what's happening.
What's happening?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
No, I was quoting Chad.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Alright, get someone take us home. Let's
No.
get something else to say.
Liam, there's something really funny. Pike moons them as they run away.
Does he?
Yeah, they drive away and he moons him. How the fuck did you forget that's the best part of this episode? Canonically, Pike just pulls his pants down and moons Vermilion.
That's sexual harassment.
That's not in the wiki. I must have missed it.
Nice, Liam.
Base.
Awesome.
Oh my
You guys
god,
watch these
Liam is
episodes
my
still?
favorite
What
person.
speed did you watch these episodes on, Liam?
1x actually.
I also
Damn,
watched.
that's sorry.
I
I'm
also
sorry,
watched.
dude.
I also watched it at 1x this time.
Good. Yeah, don't be psychopaths. Alright, any more funny comments, Blake?
Now I feel a bit fucked up because I'm like.
Okay, sorry.
Well, no, not in like a bad way.
Yeah, pay attention to me next time.
No, and honestly, when I was saying that, I honestly did not remember us talking about this.
Yeah, you want to
awesome.
talk about how he stole Pike's semblance too?
No. I do want to bring something up, and you might
Talk about how bad chase scenes are.
I
Okay, guys, come on.
Jesus Christ.
guys, so someone like Kermit the Frog in here.
What the fuck?
I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm losing my fucking mind. We gotta go on.
Fuck. Okay.
No.
No.
Blake, I know. How about you do your intro joke again? This is a really exciting episode.
This is gonna be the most exciting episode of Supernova Safari yet. But no, I did have a point specifically. You might ask, why am I making this after this episode and not after the next one? But the point of it is, I want to discuss this now, and then discuss this again at the end of the next episode, because it's very pertinent leading into next week. So, episode 11 is now over. They're getting away from Vermilion. We are almost done with season 2. Like, we have 3 more episodes after this, and season 2 is done. Like, the Grimm Campaign currently is almost done. What the fuck is like happening? What like, do we feel like we're anywhere close to being done with a plot point?
No, this whole season was very focused on like a couple different jobs to try and like convey that they're reinforcing the current situation. The problem is the finale job kind of comes out of nowhere, which which I wouldn't say is like. Now it's like it's ostensibly emergent storytelling because it's involved with the player's actions to a degree, but it was always going to end up this way by what their plans were in the first place. So Eddie could have done a lot better idea of kind of building this up. But yeah, as for like narrative feel, like Eddie didn't really pick like a very good way to incentivize the idea of this season ending. The best I could have thought of for how he could have incorporated it more was when they sent out that help signal. They needed to like get some level of like warning on like we only have this much time we can hold out left if that signal doesn't get through.
Yeah,
and this is like they were like speeding forwards trying to get something done, but they kind of didn't.
I don't want to use the phrase "a waste of time," like loosely, but this episode
because listen to this podcast we make.
This episode and all of what this plot point with Taupe has been is just a massive waste of fucking time. Like, oh god, you established Vermilion Radic exists. I sure hope that matters. Couldn't you have done this at the end of season 1 when he showed up?
Here's the thing. He tried to, but no one went in the room and he didn't realize he needed to force them in there.
That's fucking his fault then.
It is his fault. He's now having to make up for it. It's really funny.
You're the GM. You can force literally anything upon people.
It's really funny.
And I guess it's just like you see what happened this episode of they got Taupe back. And it's like, yep. It's only 3 more episodes. And the episode after this is fucking half an hour. So is it really even 3 episodes left? God.
Yeah, I mean, this is the largest confrontation they have with the Hana Guild, basically. And it's kind of unclimactic because they don't really... They never really set up anyone else besides Rebellion in the Hana gang or the Hana Guild.
Where were all of his men? They were in his base, in their compound.
There were a bunch of men when they showed up.
Yeah, that guy got fucking yeeted by a door.
But there were plenty of other guys around, but none of them were here to stop them from driving out through the garage or anything. It's only Vermilion. Eddie just ignored them. It was very slapdash because he was just focused on establishing Vermilion as this autistic Terminator man chasing down magical items.
Yeah.
Which he didn't get to do last season because they ignored him. And, Eddie didn't realize that his players, to his credit, he didn't realize his players would literally ignore the most incentivizing who the fuck is this main villain character at all. Which is his fault, but also unbelievable in the first place, so he's just had to redo this from here. And
I think I'm good on this episode now, because I have another rant on, not really Vermilion, but more magical items again in a different way. It's more on, Eddie's usage of, the plot, but I think it's better saved for, next episode, or, covering the next episode when we actually describe what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, sure. Let's hit it, bros.
Yeah.
A few moments later.
Episode 12, Airship Hijinks. Parentheses, the plot thickens because the guy was off that day. And then we'll write a better title. So we're into an actual episode of the Grimm Campaign now, where, once again, it's only 35 minutes, but hey, at least it's fucking character interactions. So immediately... right off the bat, we're into some very funny, all the pathos as Pike as Eddie goes, so you guys want to do anything with Taupe? And they say, no, but I want to hug him, Carrie says. And he's like, okay. And then Carrie goes, I don't even want to say anything, just a hug. I'm like, all right. So Pike just hugs Taupe.
Can I ask, did he pull his pants back up from the mooning?
It's never stated!
Oh, no.
I also like to say, I'm pretty sure before that, basically the first thing that happens in the episode is them walking. And Eddie says, not in character, Taupe is very thankful. He's expressing how thankful he is to you. And, it makes me have an aneurysm because I'm like, Eddie, I know you don't like to talk in character very often, why the fuck are you not just doing it right now? Like, literally, why are you just not talking in character as Taupe right now and saying, wow, thanks, guys. You have to do a lot.
Why don't my players
no wonder they don't fucking do anything. You didn't fucking do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Jesus.
Asher, of course, Chris, of course, or Chad, of course, has Asher come in, immediately cocking Carrie by saying he's giving Taupe a new Deputy Huntsman badge. To which Carrie finds NTR really funny, so he plays into the fact that Pike had repaired the old one and was going to give it to him, but then looks down sad and depressed and fucking, like, comedy, but also sad. And, Asher's like, here you go, man. There it is. And Taupe's like, damn, yeah. And Taupe has a moment where he stares at it, and he's not like a kid anymore. He's staring at, like, it's meaningful. And he's like, yeah, thanks. I just wish I could have done something more so I wasn't so, like, vulnerable. Like, I want to be better and do all the things you guys, like, told me, like, real huntsmen are like, so I don't feel like I'm a waste like this. Like, I want to be help next time. It's like, oh, this is, like, a character mode for Taupe, where he's like, oh, this is cool. He takes the badge, and instead of childlike appreciating it this time, he nods resolutely. And, Chris, sensing the momentum, is like, listen, man, like, you've done a good job for who you are. Like, you're already, like, have the right mindset. It's all about continuing. Don't beat yourself up too much about it. Pounds him on the chest, like, you have this already. You're a huntsman so far. You're doing good. And, it's like, oh, that's nice, Phoenix. So Eddie, of course, asked for a charisma roll to ruin the moment. And he, of course, straight charisma, no diplomacy bonuses or anything. So he rolls, like, a 6, so he gets, like, an 8. And Abe makes sure to go, like, Chris tries to go, oh, he's like a kid. Yeah, he doesn't really get the deep meaning. He's like, no, it just doesn't really reach him. Yeah, he doesn't. He's like that. He's like, thanks! But he doesn't really hit him.
It's psychotic.
It's so funny.
Awesome.
It's fucking
That is
psychotic.
the funniest thing I've ever heard. I was like, oh, that's like a really good line. He's like a good follow-up with what Taupe was just saying.
Yeah.
And then hitting him with a skill check over
To quote you quote Liam from 4 minutes ago, why does no one interact with the characters? Because every time you make them roll a fucking charisma check with no skill, and they get low results, and you go, what you said makes it look dumb now.
Sorry,
Why do you piss on these moments? Like, Chad tries to do it also and rolls low. So it's like, oh yeah, cool, thanks.
Yeah, but wouldn't it have been Pog if he rolled a 20?
Literally, that's the only brain function they have. Like, wouldn't it be full Pog if this was a 20?
That's the only one you
Taupe
need.
would, like, level up. And, that's basically all they have to say. They go back to Takaya.
Well,
I did write down one more thing about this.
Okay.
So, I should have said this at the time, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Lee, Ivy's very thankful. She's expressing how thankful she is to you over this. It's just, she just seems very happy.
Cool characterizing.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you need.
Taupe's voice actor wasn't here today, so we can't have him play.
Yeah,
what were you going to say?
I did want to say that there was a point, I think, in this conversation, maybe it was another point when they was talking about kids, if they were around, but I think it was this point where he's like, Taupe thanks you guys for all the things you taught him, like, when you trained all the kids. Except you, Arastra.
Except you, Arastra. No, I think... No, that is now. Yeah.
Like,
no, that's later. I think that's but it does not matter because it's something that Taupe just says. It's so funny. Because in this conversation, when Eddie is saying Taupe is like, I should try harder and think smarter like you guys told me. Like, it just sounded... I realized when they mentioned that later that what he was trying to recite there was, like, the points they told him, but they were so generic, like, it didn't hit at the time when Taupe was repeating it. Like, he tried to have a take the hat off kid moment. But, like, couldn't even manage to do that properly because what the players told him was literally try hard and think hard.
I'd like to also say, I wrote it.
I'm sorry. I'm cutting you off. Don't say fucking take the hat off, kid.
No.
I'll fucking kill you.
No. That is not leaving our lexicon.
I would like to say, when they say that joke about Arastra, they hard cut the video.
Ooh.
Right out. No, you can see because she goes from not displaying any emotion to laughing. So there was just a hard cut.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, like her face just instantly changes.
Schizo woman demands this.
So literally, they're like, except you, Rostra. Ha ha, cut.
Yeah, it's not funny.
It's so. I was fucking rolling. Ben, this is what I was talking about, where it's like they make a hard cut that's fucking hilarious. It's right there, where it's like they make a joke about her, fucking instantly gone. And
yeah, it's
it was
because
so
can I
funny.
roleplay this for you real quick?
Please.
If you don't mind? This is going. We're gonna take it back a little bit to the first episode of the Grimm Campaign. Actually, the pre-planning, the session 0, if you will.
Session 0.
Hey Laura, you want to play with us? Yeah, but I'm not very comfortable with D&D. I feel like it's filled with a bunch of how can I say, toxic people, and I don't want to subject myself to that. It's okay, Laura. We'll take it easy on you. Which means she's playing on easy mode.
Reflect back to now, and she demands their apologies for breaking their sacred contract.
Yes, because now she thinks she's being bullied. Because, they're taking a shot at her. And I think that she should meet Liam, because I think that the contrast there would be staggering.
Liam knows how to take it on the chin. It's made of iron.
Yeah.
What's this Glass Joe shit, Laura?
Liam couldn't possibly be mad at us, right? For just constantly shitting on him for years.
Who constantly shits on Liam? Name the person.
Who constantly shits on Liam?
It's fine. I just do it back.
Exactly. And kids, looks at us viewers like they're literally 6-year-olds as we're reciting this lesson. Sometimes sticks and stones break your bones, but words should never hurt. Anyway, back to this Grimm Campaign podcast episode. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You want to stay on this?
Give me a charisma check for that.
Thanks,
So
Lou.
our viewers at home can.
Oh, look at that. A 2.
Shit. They just aren't feeling it.
Damn, they just unsubscribed.
Comment down below if you felt it or not from Noah's 2.
Downvote here if you didn't roll above a 15 on your own D20 at home.
Roll a D20. Tell me what you rolled. Then I'll tell you.
Question of the week. Roll a D20. Tell me what you roll. I'll tell you if you pass or not. We're doing a little viewer session here, guys.
Yeah, I think we're
doing a little play by post.
That reminds me. Like, okay, so in the last episode, Asher uses a semblance and Vermilion has disadvantage. Never mind.
You wouldn't get it.
No, I was making a joke. Liam got it.
Blake's going Joker mode.
Okay. Right.
Okay,
anyway.
they go to talk to Takaya.
Yeah. They talk to Takaya. It's the most character Takaya's ever been given in the series is here. Because they're like, Takaya... for some reason, they let Pike handle this whole situation. And he's like, Takaya, you got some students who are like traitors who are in the Hada gang. This guy's like, yeah, they've already come over here and admitted that. They've like told us stuff. That's kind of why we're like, because they show up and he's like, shit's just moving around. Guy's like, yeah, that's why shit's kind of going uphill here. We're like, we got some bad news. And Pike's like, it's okay. They got Taupe. Because the Hana gang fears Taupe. Is literally what he said. And he's like, he's good, he was cool. And they're like, he's like, alright, give me a charisma roll. It rolls high enough that this time Taupe is allowed to feel good about himself. So, thanks, Eddie, I guess.
It's so insane to me.
And the guy's like, alright, guys, well, like, what happened? Can you tell me what happened? They're like, well... Vermilion's scary. He's really tough. And he stole my semblance at one point. And he knows about magic artifacts. And the guy's like, God, that's really fucking scary. Because we know literally nothing about Vermilion because he's new here. So Takai just knows nothing about him. And they're like, we also have worse news. They know about the sewer sanctuary. To which I was expected to go, well, yeah, no shit. He goes, yeah. That's what's bad. We have to move. And I just literally got caught in a fucking snap. Like, I fucking jumped through a noose. Like, oh, we were really supposed to think they didn't know about the sewer sanctuary city. Are you fucking kidding me?
It was
the
hidden.
gangs were literally supposed to not know about this?
It was hidden underground.
Like, there's that one time they got chased into it and they threw a bunch of bombs. Like, they didn't just forget where they were chasing them, right?
No, broke line of sight.
Oh, no.
What was that noise?
Pros.
Well, maybe there's like a puzzle you have to solve to like get through like a grate
Yeah, it's
gotta,
like
like,
a
turn, like,
fucking
4
Resident
valves.
Evil sewer.
to put on like
Up
lights.
comes out and
lights
says
up
you have to
different
answer a
lights.
riddle.
Yeah, the chess company decided, yeah, we'll put in switches that look like chess pieces. Sounds good, right? Like, how do we get in here?
Get in there. Fuck.
I planned all this. My
Awesome.
child army.
Ozpin's perfect defense system. You have to play chess to get in.
So, then Takaya fills them in on basically what the plan is going to be. By that, I mean the imminent now thing they have to handle, which is the Wave Gang is sick of their shit. Specifically, Takaya was like, they're fed up with you. They're putting all the fucking artifacts on a big dust fucking like carrier. Yeah, like a big carrier plane. Like think of like the huge ones the military uses. To just put all the artifacts on, shove them in there, and get them away. Where are they going to? Don't fucking care.
And Takaya then immediately says something which really confused me, which was, this is really bad. We need to stop them. So, now that might sound like, no, what are you fucking talking about? Now, I understand that Takaya is a good guy, but as the guy who is trying to protect Kuchinashi, what he has just said is basically, yeah, so the Wave are, like, leaving. Like, they're taking their shit and they're leaving. Like, I don't think the Wave would stick around here if they have the magic artifacts and they're leaving, right? Like, to me, this sounds like the Wave is deciding to move location.
Yeah, Noah, this is actually a great point, because this segues perfectly into what I wanted to talk about regarding this mission.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is that I think the whole plot point of these magic items, and, like, the whole thing that they've been doing the entire time, is now revealed to be really fucking stupid. I agree with Takaya in the sentiment of, if his motivation was purely to protect the city, and getting rid of the magic items is a way of protecting the city, if, like, the Wave Gang was literally just funneling them through Kuchinashi out of the city, because, like, with no intention of not doing that. If they're just fucking leaving, who gives a fuck? Because, like, in the end, who fucking cares about the items? They just exist now. These are in the world. These are bigger than Team fucking Sapphire and Kuchinashi. These fucking things seem to be insane. One of them fucking controls Grimm to a fucking comical degree. It's a fool's errand to try and stop them from getting out at this point, because there are just so fucking many of them, apparently. And, like what the fuck are you for, or, like, fucking small group of people going to actually do? This is, like, a problem for the world at this point of what the fuck these things do to, like, society.
So, I think there's literally no one else capable around here.
Yeah, so it's like, honestly, who gives a shit? This is like an Ozpin level problem of, like, yeah, these things are fucking, like, these things seem fucking insane and would destabilize the world if they're this strong. So it's like, Takaya, don't reach above your station, basically. You can't do shit. Just focus on keeping what little you have safe.
Yeah, I don't know what we're supposed to take away, if I'm even supposed to be thinking this at all, because, I mean, it might literally be constructed in a way where Eddie's not even wanting you to instigate levels of thought of why a character would want to do something outside of good and evil alignment, but, like, assuming you are supposed to think about it, I guess, like, what we'd infer here is maybe Takaya knows something about the Ozpin Society or is associated with it, in the sense where he'd be like, well, we gotta stop this. But I do think it's probably just literally no thought is put into this situation, like, and it's just like, well, we can't let him get away because we're the good guys. Like, you know, Takaya, for the guy who's supposed to be, like, trying his best to protect the city, really does seem like a fucking idiot, and really is characterized in a weird way here, which, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing for a character to be trying to go above their station. I just think it's very confusing with what's been established. And once again, this episode's like 35 minutes. There's no real like explanation or exploration, I should say, of why he feels so strongly.
It's like you can get away with having him just want to do it because he feels like he wants to do the right thing. He wants to like try and make the world safer by taking care of these. One, if that was the goal, they should have just tried to fucking destroy any of the ones that they find. Like, just fucking destroy them on sight because Jesus Christ, yeah. But, like, it's so weird to me, and, like, it comes down to the problem every character has, which is they don't fucking get enough time to ever talk, or even if they do have time to talk, Eddie's terrible, so we don't get to... We can barely guess at their motivations. It's like Taupe, and that's because he's...
Taupe and Abby are the only characters.
Abby because she has the backstory that informs a lot of, like, what she's about. And Taupe because he's honestly not very complicated.
What about Alabaster?
No, Alabaster's motives are... Well, okay, I mean, I think we realized Alabaster's motives, but I don't think they were very well established. I guess Alabaster has enough of a point of I literally just want to protect the town.
It was a plot device.
Exactly.
It was so basic. It didn't matter.
Well, yeah, like I'm saying, he's the point of Takaya where it's like, I don't really think I can explain to you a deeper, like an actual coherent reason these characters act this way.
Yes.
And unfortunately, for a city that has been categorized by having a good few colorful characters, in theory, Eddie has failed on all accounts with them so far, basically, besides these two characters. One being a party pet character equivalent of Taupe, and one being a person's backstory character.
Yeah, and this is the part where I want to put a gun in my mouth and pull the trigger as many times as I can before I hit the floor. Which is Takaya and Pike decide to do a little wink and nudge, being like, oh man, this would be so weird if we're going to, like, you know, the end of the season.
This is like a finale we've been building up to. Yes, Takaya, agree. This is like something we've been building up to. Takaya, yes, I agree. This is almost a finale level event. These are things they say in character ostensibly. I mean, they might just be being sarcastic, but they still do the joke. We're saying this in character. And, I mean, like, yeah, this isn't probably for real. They probably wouldn't... If I asked them at a convention, did these characters say this in real life? They'd be like, no. But they still did it. And it's still not a good joke. And it's still boring. So let's get to a really good joke. Hey, guys. Templeton is something for you.
I honestly hate Templeton.
It's a Templeton scene. Yeah.
To which they go, okay, Takaya, can you come with us to help with Templeton? To which Takaya gets the first bit of character he's ever received, which he goes, listen, I like to think I'm a really patient guy, but I really fucking hate Templeton. Like, he just drives me up the wall. And it's like, yeah... I agree.
It's
really funny. He says, well, I'm a really nice guy. I don't really hate most people. Then thinks back to Alabaster for a second.
Yeah.
And then carries on.
Just complete, like, Eddie, you're not thinking about this,
it's so funny, because it's like, Eddie, you had an infinite amount of ways to just say Takaya can't go with them for this scene, and you don't want to do that. Why did you choose that one? He could just say yes, sorry, I have to go and, well, there's a lot of work to be done because we're moving. I have to go handle other matters. Can you please just go handle this yourselves and we can talk later?
No, Templeton's pretty poggers.
No, it's the funny thing to say.
You telling me it's not supposed to be funny?
We're gonna have.
You're telling me you don't want a funny thing?
We're gonna no. That's why next Records of Remnant I'm gonna bring out Funny Clara.
Funny Clara.
It's funny session, Felix.
Funny session, Felix.
Oh, great.
Maybe now we should bring back the serious Gwen instead of the funny Gwen.
Dude. Truly, that is fucked.
That's
up.
funny.
My favorite comment of all time.
I'd also like to note that Chad sounded. This is where I was like, Chad sounds like fucking dead. Is that?
Yeah, because he just said Templeton time, and Chad literally would rather do anything else. Just one more of my autistic thing. They mentioned this carrier, we have to stop them because they're heading to the capital, Mistral. Okay, just putting my autism on the board. Why? I mean, you've seen that I've changed this in my series if you've watched Records of Remnant. Why is every fucking nation's capital just the nation's name? It's really, really embarrassing.
Did they say
Really weird. That's literally all of them.
Oh fuck! I don't think I caught that. I thought he just said Mistral. I didn't know he said the nation's capital, Mistral.
Yeah, because that's what it is, Mistral.
Oh fuck! I just thought he said the cap, like he just meant the capital of Mistral, not.
That's what the capital of Mistral is called, Mistral.
Why?
The capital of Atlas is called Atlas. It's the capital of Vale is called Vale. It's what the capital of Vacuo is called, Vacuo.
Why? That's
Do you guys not remember this? This is what RWBY's like.
That's not how it works.
That's pretty lazy.
It's Mistral City.
Eddie, Carrie, can you point at any fucking country ever?
New York City is the closest. Things like that exist. Like, I understand they exist.
Yes. But fucking all of them? Really? All of them? Like Atlas, I'll give to you. Like, but all of them.
All of them.
Really?
The funny thing is, Atlas technically had Mantle at one point.
That's why I give it to
changed
them.
it to Atlas.
That's why I give it to them, because then it's like you can see who made the choice. Whoever the fuck decided that fairly recently, all things considered.
It's I just hate it. It's just so lazy. Come up with a name. It makes the world feel like there's only one place. It's the entire nation. Just reminded me, hearing it out loud when a character says that, I had like a seizure as I remembered that this is what they stuck to and never decided to change it.
I can't wait to go to Mistral, Felix. The place, not the country.
Not the country.
Wow.
The city Mistral of Mistral. It really fucks me up.
Man, Felix, this is pretty weird.
Yeah, this sucks, Felix.
I don't like you.
Say it's AstroTurf, Felix. I'm not even gonna do the voice.
It's AstroTurf.
Anyway, yeah. So they go to Templeton. We have a very strange scene here because Templeton doesn't do the number joke. Templeton shambles up, looking ashamed of himself, and goes, "Yeah, I'm really sorry I didn't notice that like this thing was being tampered with, and how like I could have gotten like a lot of people hurt and killed by making this mistake, and I'm really taking this one like this is my fault, guys. I'm sorry." And they're like, "Oh." Carrie's like, Pike's like, "Don't worry, Templeton. It's like it's okay, man. Like we all make mistakes," and they're all very normal to him because he basically just admits that this whole thing about the sensors being fucked up, he really should have actually noticed better instead of just going, "Yeah, I know what's going on." Which, I mean, yes, Templeton, it was literally the most weird thing that you didn't have an idea what it was. But, I mean, hey, I guess even devils have feelings in this world. What are you guys' thoughts on Templeton being just, like, sorry about that?
Fucking makes it go faster and doesn't do the same fucking joke again, so I thank God.
That's pretty sad they didn't do the joke, but...
Fucking Jesus.
Oh,
Liam.
Thank fucking God they saved
repeating
me.
joke is not funny.
They saved me some fucking brain cells by actually just skipping to the point that we get to.
Yeah, so Templeton after that's like, yeah, here's the other artifact we discovered. It's nothing special. It's just an amulet that keeps you hidden from Grimm. You know, just like the most desirable item in the entire setting. Thanks, Templefuck. What do you want me to say? I've talked about magic items enough. This is ridiculous. And he gives them a Gamulet. I don't even care if it just adds a +5 to hiding from Grimm. It's a fucking help. It's a Grimm detection, like, involved in hiding you from Grimm. It's a magic item that protects them from noticing you as much. Are you fucking for real? This is so valuable. I don't care about the fucking Jawbreaker. I don't care about Mega Man Blaster. You have a fucking amulet that's like keep you hidden from Grimm. You have an amulet that's control Grimm. This is so fucked up. This is so fucked up.
Eat your fucking heart out, Lucy.
Yeah, eat shit, Luso.
Fuck.
Yeah?
I'm trying to think. I was about to say something, but I got fucking lost it.
I can keep talking about how much
go ahead.
How awesome this scene is. Because Templeton just hands this shit over, and they're like, that's kind of cool. Like, they don't really react to that.
Right,
like,
I remember.
Okay. Go ahead.
When the fuck was the last time they even fought Grimm?
Oh,
in an actual combat. Was it at the end of season 1?
Yeah,
They
basically.
fought some monkeys at the start of the season, right?
No.
What do you mean no?
What monkey fight was there?
No.
They fought bandits, right?
It was the plane in the bandit village. Was the first encounter of the season.
Yeah. Then they ran
Then
away.
Then it was
Then they left.
Then it was the prison.
That was the prison, which is people and turrets. Then it was, going to break in, not break in, Jesus fucking Christ, my head fucking hurts. The caravan. They ran from Grimm.
Yeah, but those weren't like an actual part of the rolling.
Yeah, everything they've done has been like inner gang politics shit. Like they haven't been dealing with Grimms at all because they're mercenaries, not huntsmen at this point.
Oh yeah.
Because Eddie realized. Sorry, go ahead, Liam.
No, yeah, the show sucks.
Yeah, because Eddie realized that you need to be like at least try to justify why in a scenario like this you'd be fighting with Grimm. I'll tell you, as someone who runs the game, you have to understand that Grimm are really cool antagonists, but you have to be really you have to actually set them up to be, like, interesting antagonists if you mean for them to be a larger scale threat than just fights that naturally happen. Not that they can't be cool, but, like, you have to put in a lot of leg room if you want, like, your arc villain to be a Grimm somehow, or a Grimm threat. Like, you're definitely gonna have to try a little bit. You can't just do nothing. And so, because Eddie realized that, he's like, well, I mean, guess I'll just fight humans, which is why mostly in RWBY they just are fighting humans, and Grimm show up once in a while.
That's like the fucking issue. I
won't say I haven't had a primarily involved fighting humans in my game, but that's like just kind of the nature. Like you mostly have to create situations for the Grimm to be the largest threat. I mean, here we are in the current arc in Mount Glen, and we all know the Grimm are going to be the biggest threat there. Now it's a question of, well, what's Noah going to do? Is it going to be like a big Grimm fight? What's it going to be? It's like, but Grimm are on the mind. I'm trying to hopefully make sure that comes across. It's not like the Vital Festival where it's like clearly Grimm won't be the opponents here, but like, I don't blame him necessarily for not having Grimm. It just reveals that he has nothing for them.
No, that makes perfect sense, except in the fact that Eddie gave himself a cheat and gave his antagonist a necklace that controls Grimm.
Oh yeah, dude! I didn't even want to talk about that because it's so obvious. He could have a cool, he could have had like a cool Grimm that like is like I said, Lemon got neutered by Abby. If Lemon was cool, Lemon could have had like a specific big Grimm she found, or like a type of Grimm that was really useful, and she used as like her personal like assassin Grimm. It was like a pet she had or something. And it could have given it a cool name, like it was fucking with people in the town. Could have called it like something after some yokai in Japan, like a fucking Oni or something. It could have been like, damn, that's could have equipped it with like human weapons and things. It's like a big fucked up Grimm she's controlling. Could have been like a Terminator thing, kind of like how, Vermilion is a scary Terminator man. They could have made like a big Grimm that's all robotic because she's controlling it and it's like humanoid. They're like, that's the Oni, and they have encounters with it, brushes with it, and then at the end of the season fight, like, yeah, they could have done something really obviously easy and interesting, like give her a Darth Vader Grimm. But I mean, like, that's like, I had to think about that for literally 5 seconds, and Eddie doesn't want to do that. This is why I'm talking about these magic items. Like, it's just like, Yeah, if you introduce magic items, you have an ease of access to plot points because you have to put so much less thought into establishing them because you can wave your hand. Sure, it will destroy your setting, but you will be able to do them easier. It's why most settings and shows and stuff deteriorate over time because writers get lazier with wanting to do setup because it's hard. And they realize they didn't do it enough earlier, so making something come out of nowhere is hard, so they have to break the rules on it. But here we are. Just once again, just that moment of realization. Yeah, haven't really had to fight Grimm this whole season because they're huntsmen, and they're just being D&D mercenaries who are dealing with a gang war. Is that a bad setting? Idea? No, I don't think it necessarily is. Is it a little disappointing? Yes. Especially because, could mix them in here to remind us all that it's dangerous to live in this world. Maybe the sewer sanctuary had some creepy Grimm pop up and they needed to defend it internally. And they're like, well, of course, because everyone's on edge, there's Grimm being attracted here even in the sewers. This place isn't going to last forever. We have to do something about the surface.
You could literally make, Batman level fucking Killer Croc, and just put that Grimm in the sewer, and give it make it just an episode, and it would be infinitely better than Vermilion's fight, because it would just be a big fucking scary Grimm that lives in the sewers and is gonna fucking kill people.
We've had 4 chase scenes this season. We could have cut one. What's up,
I would have loved Villain of the Week. Grimm Campaign.
That would have been much better. That's how you could do a Grimm effectively. But instead, what we have a Lotus tank. Damn, that was memorable. I love the Lotus tank. Why is it a Lotus tank? I don't know. Just a cool name, bro. It's a tank. Yeah. So, a little tangent there from just because, you don't want to hear me say magic items you're saying more, Just wanted to stress that in a setting with these magical items, could have had much more interesting villains, and the keep you hidden from Grimm necklace doesn't really stand out to these murder hobos' brains because they're not remembering that in this world, the idea that you had an amulet that would keep you safe from Grimm would be salvation to some people and would be a religious thing to hear about. That's insane. And then immediately in this scene, after getting this, Chad's just I want more. So he's he says, I'm going to intimidate Templeton to see if he has more for us. And he explains out in meta that I'm concerned that Vermilion, we're gonna have to figure out if Vermilion's gonna hit the wave carrier like we are because they have all the magic artifacts, or if he might come here to get some of the magic artifacts we have, while we leave to go deal with the wave sinks, if this place would be unprotected. So I'm concerned about that. So I think maybe it'd be better if we could get as many as we need. So we're in one place, so these guys aren't in danger of Vermilion. So he says that in meta, and instead of relaying that to Templeton and trying to explain himself, he's I'm going to intimidate the shit out of him. So I grab his shoulder and tell him to give me more artifacts, which the wiki then actually put in its summary to convinces him to give them another artifact rather than, scaring him. So they literally are trying to whitewash the hero's actions. Very funny wiki. Does anyone remember the epic artifact they offer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Liam,
It's a gem that restores aura.
It is an ancient form of dust that is slightly unstable, but helps regenerate aura. Bros. Chthonian dust bros. Oh no. Ancient dust. Am I a hack? No, because ancient dust is a cool idea, and this is fine. The part that scares me here is immediately all of them besides Chris go, oh yeah, I don't want that. Templeton holds up gem, goes, this is an old form of dust. It's very interesting, crystal arrangement. It'll help you regenerate your aura. I don't want that!
To which Phoenix goes, oh, that sounds useful. I'm going to just leave this jawbreaker here that I don't need for some reason, and I can't carry both, I guess.
I guess they are only allowed one magic item! Is it
only one attunement slot. Damn. That's rough.
Is the fucking jawbreaker an attuned item? It's a fucking grenade!
It was a very odd scene, because
it's so weird! Go ahead.
He kind of does it out of nowhere. He's just I put this back. I don't want to be greedy.
They never established that they could only have one on screen. I guess we're to assume it's attunement slots, but in character, attunement slots Well, I guess you could say, well, your aura would be drained too much or something. But, I mean, they didn't say that, so that's me trying to cover it up. And I don't understand why the other three don't think this artifact that regenerates aura is useful. I don't know why only one of them realized how good that is. I also don't know why he had another artifact he was holding back on telling them about. This whole scene is nonsense.
Just very odd.
Anyway, well, after intimidating Templeton and stealing from him, guys, you all get to have a short rest and level up, which I was surprised by, because Eddie made it sound like they have, literally only so much time. So I guess they get only a short rest and not a long one. So this is the level in the Huntsman class where they get weapon upgrades. If you remember from our summary of the Huntsman class homebrew, the weapon upgrades are wildly imbalanced because strength guys get an extra bit of damage on their attacks. I believe it is +2 if two-handed, +1 if dual wielding or something. Speed guys get another attack on their attack actions. And dust people get advantage on all cantrips. Now, that's busted for will people. That's insane. But what's even more hilarious to me is you have to take special note here that what Eddie said they got in the episode is not that, because either Eddie has absolutely nerfed the shit out of this broken ability, or this was changed later. It's undetermined. I don't have a date for when these changes or alters. There's no way for me to tell. So I can't say for sure which way this went, but I would hope it's the nerf way, because God, what is in the home brewery link for this is so fucking busted. But Eddie has changed it to it gives more dust of each type. He doesn't specify how much, so that's more spell slots. So, okay, this is already still busted. Great. And +1 to elemental attacks damage. So, hilarious. Awesome. The homebrew link might have inconsistencies in it.
I also want to say, I started dying of laughter when he was going one by one, but okay, Chad, get this.
Everyone gets a special upgrade. I have them all here.
And he's like, okay, Chris, get this. And Chris just gives him a dead-sounding cool. He sounds like he literally does not give a fuck. That is a man that read...
I say Chris or Chad, I'm sorry, because I think it's Chad with
Chris.
Asher, or... Is it Chris? I'm
no,
enthusiastic about his.
No, this is before the individual ones. This is
when they're just getting theirs. Yeah, of course Chris wouldn't be enthusiastic.
No, he sounds like a man that read the PDF and realized he was playing Strength.
Yeah, exactly, you're right. Sorry.
And he cannot contain the level of just not giving a fuck he has at leveling up, because it's
because it sucks.
You get
he gets +1 to damage. That's it.
You get some more damage. Cool.
+1 damage on your weapon attacks.
The
guy next to you gets an extra attack.
I also apologize because I had to get up for a second when you said this. I found it so fucking funny when Eddie was just like you said, yeah, you guys can have a short rest and you level. It's like, Eddie, why the fuck didn't you just give them a long rest? If you're gonna make them level too, what the fuck?
It's so
weird to me. It's like they're leveling up.
Think about this, guys. They had that full caravan fight sequence where they went through a lot of shit, and we're going now into the finale. They didn't get time to do a long rest in between that. It's actually kind of ball breaking.
Well, yeah,
that is a long segment.
Even the city, we gotta make everything.
Yeah, it just makes me wonder. It's like, dude, fucking just let them lie down for 8 hours. Fuck.
No, this is actually hard. I mean,
Why not just be like, oh, the airships arriving in the city tomorrow evening?
Well, you know what it is? It's just probably off screen. They're like, hey Eddie, can I just get my abilities back? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But it doesn't matter which rest they're taking. It's just they're rested, so they get their fucking abilities back.
Yeah, I mean, actual terms. They throw around actual terms all the time, but they clearly just fuck them up constantly. We'll get into the HP.
Oh yeah, I don't believe Laura knows literally anything about how D&D works. Still,
yeah, I mean, the legendary action part we talked about earlier showed that none of them know because none of them knew what a legendary action is. Like, it is not an uncommon thing in 5e to know that boss monsters have different actions available to them as a balancing means to break action economy so they don't get destroyed by parties because they get bigger action economy. It's a system they implement in 5e. It's a cool idea, and I think it works to its effect. That's what layer actions can do also. But like none of them knew that, so it's like, oh, yeah, it shows how shit they are. So
and then they get individual level up things from Eddie.
And some of these are so good, and some of these are Phoenix or Asher, possibly Phoenix. So starting from the top, just going in order they get. Pike, all his range attacks now explode in a 5-foot area and deal an extra D8 damage. Jesus Christ, that's good. I don't know if he means the AoE only is the D8 damage, but the way it's worded and the way this would work, assuming it's based off the similar thing Ice Knife does, is it would deal an extra D8 damage to the main target also. Even if it doesn't, that's still pretty good. But because it's just a passive he has, pretty good. This one scares me because I'm not sure what he means. I have a generous way to interpret it, which is still overpowered in a fucking scary way. A roster can use 2 dust attacks at once now. So either he means in the way that I mean is a bit more restrained, but I still think it's busted, is with her semblance, she can use 2 of the dust forms now, which is really scary because those have some powerful effects, but it's not as busted as Eddie meaning that she can use 2 dust spell attacks at once, which would be crazy. But he said it in a very vague way.
When I heard him say it, my immediate thought was she can use 2 dust spell attacks at once.
Okay.
But I do think I'm going to give Eddie the benefit of the doubt and say it's related to her semblance. I fucking hope it is, because that's really good. But the other one's absolutely retardedly broken.
Yeah, because I mean, 5e by default, there's no way to.
Yeah, it's like.
Well, hold on. I mean, like literally in the rules, like you can cast a cantrip and a spell in the turn if you can make one a bonus action somehow. But like literally, there's a rule. It's like you can only cast 1 spell per turn, no matter what. It's just a weird rule that's in there for balancing concerns. I do agree or disagree. It'd be crazy if you gave her an ability to say, "No, it's okay."
No, baby. I'm sorry if you made a
I'm
joke.
sorry I made fun of you that you didn't teach class. You can have 2 spells at once forever. Asher gets grapple shot to pull himself close to enemies.
Thought he could already do that.
Okay. And Phoenix gets a Captain America shield throw. Some of these seem better than the others.
Which ones?
The Will characters.
Well, no, they had to be given a boost. Like, they had to, so they could keep up.
Rich get richer, am I right, folks? Like, Asher's grapple shot is okay, I guess. But man, like, this shield throw, like, it better be, like, a special shield throw.
I love Eddie just like nudging Chris, like, yeah, man, now you can do, like, a range attack.
Yeah, you can do a range attack. To be fair, Chris is very into the Captain America shield throw, so he likes it.
Well, yeah, stylistically, like, theming, that's, it's something his character likes to do. Good, you made it into, like, more mechanical thing.
It's like what he likes to do as a human being.
But it's
He's
like,
a Marvel character.
But it's like, yeah, I'd also make it just not be complete hot garbage. Because I didn't make it hot garbage for everyone else. So, like, yeah, I'd keep the theming, but I don't know, fucking, like, just make it do, like, I don't know, fucking bonus D8 fucking damage or some shit. Like, give it some more fucking damage.
We have no idea if it does anything special. We don't know in the graphic shot.
Probably not gonna find out. Look how
the only one we're allowed to the only one that was specified was Pike's D8 extra. That's why.
It's not like we're gonna fucking know. Look how much of the series is fucking left.
Right. Yeah.
We might see some of these abilities be used once.
Maybe. We'll have to pay attention for these because I'm curious. They do HP rolls. They all decide to. And he makes the mistake of saying on a D10 average they roll a 5 rather than a 6, which is pretty big fuck up. That's HP. That's kind of important. they all roll. Pike gets a 1 again. Roster gets a 9 again. Asher gets a 5, and Phoenix gets a 3. Pretty oof all around, unironically.
I'd like to say Pike is like actually fucked. He's rolled a 1.
He has 2 levels of rolling with 1 HP.
That's fucking crippling. That's really bad.
He's literally just level 3, basically.
He has a +3 to con, but still, it's insane. Like, yeah, they're level 5 or 6 now, and he's rolled 1 or twice. That's so bad.
It's fucking it's laughably awful. Like, God, thank God he's like, you know, the only class of huntsman that's like not complete dog shit, which is Will.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, imagine if it's like a fucking strength-based huntsman.
Yeah, suicide would be the only option he had.
He'd literally be useless.
Alright, so they established that they are now going in the operation to go get the airship. Templeton gave them, like, the port layout and everything, and they also received from him, like, security clearance badges to get into the area. So they get a bunch of options, and they, like, set up their paths. One thing that Eddie says to them is that they're kind of fracturing into 2 groups where I don't know why they're all going in different groups, but here's what's happening. This is like a big group meeting they're doing. Phoenix is going to go for the front entrance with a badge, and the Harf and access, with the Harf's forces, so like the assassins guys. Pike is going to take all the kids through the sewers near this collapsed entrance into the abandoned hangar for like fire support. And Roster and Asher are going to, like, climb the cliff face. So for some reason, everyone's like, we should have a different plan of entry, which is very confusing to me. Very, very confusing.
It's very up their alley, though. They fucking love doing this. They love having, like, split-off plans. And
logistically, I don't understand why they would want different plans. They should just pick the most optimal one.
I also want to say, they did rally their forces in the children, Graydon, and the Hearth.
Yeah, that happens after this.
Oh, does it? I thought that's what they did. Then they start planning.
No. Sorry, I have the order of events here. So one thing they're noting when they're doing this planning, because they plan it and then present it to them. That's basically what happens. When they're doing the planning, Eddie mentions that this operation, when you guys are split, you guys won't be able to communicate with your scrolls because you're far away. Now, okay, the comms tower are down, but I cannot believe, logistic-wise, that they're anything but maybe at the most, like, no, they can't be a mile away because they're all going to the same airport. So, like, scroll ranges for basic, like, communicative, like, ranges, like walkie-talkie ranges, apparently are like non-existent. This is so fucking this is such nonsense.
Well, like in your game, it's very clearly defined. If you want to make any kind of communication long distance, like Shade to Vale, or like Shade to Mountain Glen, like we've done, you have to go to a comms tower. But if you want to make communications with someone fucking within like a large area around you locally, you can just use your fucking scroll. Because, hey, that's how you justify this.
Like I said, the reason ostensibly it doesn't work here is that the communication tower nearby that's the relay for the area was broken. That's the whole first start of this campaign was announcing, was like, they blew the tower, they needed to go to one to get a message out. But the problem is, like, that I find unbelievable is even in, like, moment-to-moment communication, scrolls have no, like, walkie-talkie functionality. Like, I don't understand why Huntsmen utilize them and don't have, like, a walkie-talkie system. Has that not been invented on Remnant, like radio wave at all? Like, I had this talk at one point in the podcast where I said Remnant's technology does probably have a fucked up progression and there are gaps in it. But the fact that this has never been, like, that you can't do like a mile worth of communication off a scroll is so weird to me.
It seems like such a if this is a problem, like you can't communicate at this short a distance with scrolls,
Yeah.
It speaks poorly on literally every single person on Remnant in the fact that no one has ever thought of this problem and tried to
Yeah,
address
exactly
it
what
in
I'm getting
some
at.
way.
Yeah.
Being like,
Yeah,
it would be astronomically stupid of literally everyone involved in any kind of leadership position everywhere to just assume the big comms towers will always be okay and rely on even local communication. Like, cross-continent, there's only so much you can do. I can buy having to just rely on those and, like, try and keep them safe. Local, literally as local as you can get, that is now just a problem for, like, how you can't possibly make me believe people in charge never came up with a solution to this problem, because what the fuck, why would they not?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like, yeah. So that's a hilarious little force detail in there just to make them synchronize their watches. I know what he meant by this. I just can't believe it. It's really silly. Pike does a dumb speech. There's a joke that Carrie's camera doesn't focus 4 times, and they do a little cut edit motion. Very hilarious. So epic. His speech is also a joke, of course. Afterwards, Graydon says something like, "Yeah, go team," and people like that part.
Graydon, the bandit murderer.
Yeah, well, most of the people here are his troops, so it makes sense to me. Awesome. He's a hero, though. Terrorist. Invested his life savings of his RimWorld colony in an anti-air gun.
He did just have a RimWorld colony out.
They should have brought the anti-air gun.
Should have brought the AA gun on our... This would solve the problem. Oh my god, wait, this is a carrier plane. Wait a minute. Plot hole. Wait, what the fuck? Why didn't they just get the anti-air gun? Wait a minute, this is a carrier jet. This is what Graydon's tribe's been doing. Their whole lifestyle was based off killing airplanes. Wait a minute.
Didn't it get blown up?
It did get blown up.
It did get. It must have gotten blown. Wait, what blew it up?
Well, the plane crash.
The wreckage. Remember, because they did.
Yeah, remember.
Literally, how dare you?
The houses, not the AA gun.
No.
The AA gun.
Yeah, I know, and that's why he was so fucking upset, because he successfully rolled like a 20 to shoot the plane. And he said, "You shot it. You saved the people, but some wreckage is gonna fall on you. Make me a dexterity save to get out of the way."
So why didn't he just say that? Hey guys, we should probably not use their scrolls, because they can monitor that stuff.
Wow! It's like they had the other tower up and monitored. That would have been a good idea, Ben. You're right.
That's
a really good explanation. Did you spend 5 seconds? Ben, did you spend 5 seconds thinking of that?
Yeah, but it's all
as I said, too much.
Well, it literally just goes back to our conversation about Takaya, about Vermilion, about everything in the series of just. Yeah, if you spend any time thinking about it, you can come up with a better reasoning than what Eddie did.
Yes, as I said, if it's more than 5 seconds. Anyway, Abby shows up, apologizes to Asher about making them do fetch quests, and stresses Asher's like, "Yeah, Abby, it's alright. Well, I'm literally shocked you're apologizing. Look, Abby, we need this not to go out. I know you have different stuff, but come on, this needs to go." And she's like, "Yeah, I hope this lines up. I also understand, and here you go. Here's your scroll back," and he laughs. And I'm like, unironically, pretty cute moment, good. And I want to point this out right here. I'm stamping my flag down. This is another clever Eddie moment. This isn't just about the phone interaction joke. Generally, Eddie's Abby has been less than desirable, but I think this is actually might be a very good moment Eddie's done. Because Abby has come up to Asher, been apologetic, and tried to, talk to him and be genuine and have a heart-to-heart moment. And I think if Eddie intended this is good, and I'm going to assume he did, because this is actually a calling back to the last time she did this, when she tried to be apologetic and actually admit things like this, was right before she fucked Asher, and she's doing it again. She feels guilty because she knows she's going to fuck them and try and get something out of this and fuck them over. And I think that's actually a really good moment, because it's repeating of the cycle, and it tells you something about Abby, which is she feels really bad ahead of time and can't stop herself from doing this or apologizing about it. And it's really kind of I have to assume it's intentional. I have to say I really like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really hope Abby does steal like the Grimm artifacts and backstabs them.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
seems like a logical
Yes, it's very good.
event.
I think the interactions between Abby and Asher here are very good, but my heart did skip a beat when Asher responded with like, "Yeah, if you apologizing, you acted a bit sassy." Because for a second I was like, Eddie, please don't go psycho. Eddie, here's this. They're supposed to have kind of a relationship like this. Eddie, don't respond.
Eddie,
but thankfully, it didn't happen for once. Eddie did not have a character psychotically respond so fucking weirdly to someone. Instead, it was what you expect, which is like, yeah, kind of like playful ribbing. And like, no one decided to get super emotional about it.
Yep, it was nice. It was good.
Yeah, and my favorite part of that scene was when Abby apologized to Asher, and he was like, "Hey, I'm surprised you did that."
Fuck you, Liam.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
Son of a bitch. That was.
You left yourself open to it, dude. What can I say?
What the fuck? What the fuck am I supposed to do about that?
You know what I liked about that scene, Liam? Abby. Alright, so we go to the planning stage.
That's just psychopathic.
Oh, we go to the planning stage and said, oh yeah, you know what time it is? My favorite time. You guys thought grappling hook logistics were good? It's drill logistics time. As Terry argues his capabilities to dig a 5-foot room out in an hour, that he should be able to dig this much dirt if this equation holds true, and they have to bend the knees. Because we can't just say, can I dig this hole in here and stick a fucking dust explosive in here for this tunnel segment? No, he has to break it down scientifically what his character's capabilities are.
Oh,
fuck, I love this game.
God, I just remembered something. I think D&D is supposed to be fun?
No. Wait, you know who remembered D&D's supposed to be fun? Fucking Chris Kokinos, because as he goes into his scene, Blake, I'd like you to flash this image up and play the song behind it, because we get the appearance of Kyle, driver for Taiko Emporium, as Chris puts on his ball cap for Phoenix's disguise. I fucking love Chris Kokinos, guys.
It's too bad he's fucking leaving.
I fucking love Chris Kokinos. The minute he knows it's his scene, he puts on a ball cap and he gets into it. Fucking comedy. I love this guy so much. Alright, the music should have ended by now, so I can speak on this sincerely. The fact that Chris is able to just drive in his Taiko truck fine in this disguise means that I don't know why they all didn't do that. I mean, like, I know they have to get their forces in there somehow also, but I feel like they could have, let Takaya and, like, Raid and guide their own forces in here. It's really shocking to me that this Taiko plan just works on the gate guard. I mean, they got information, they got, like, identities for it, but, I expected Eddie to fuck them. Huh. He makes a little joke where he says, like, it doesn't work at first, then stops and goes, no, I'm fucking kidding. And, none of them thought he was kidding.
Why would you?
I know, exactly. It's Eddie. And, I like Kyle, driver for Taiko Emporium. Good joke. He committed to it, and the editor did too.
Kyle does get like a little dazed at like all the crowds because his autism flares up, but he works fast.
Yeah, but dramatically though, he recognizes as someone calls out to him by his name, and it's Daff, who's alive and still in his town guard uniform, and so are a bunch of guys from the Wave Gang. So we're to assume that Daff has joined the Wave Gang, or is complying with them, and working in their, staffed town guard, like, gang member fill-in police force.
Alright.
That's where the episode ends. I mean, that's pretty big, guys. It's Daff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Talking about this.
Fuck Daff.
Yeah, the character of Daff.
I mean, he literally was the taupe of season 1. I mean, come on, guys. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
Like, this is... It doesn't hit. It doesn't hit. Because, well,
Who cares? Who cares?
this entire character was always a joke.
If it was like Alabaster, then I'd be like, oh well, we didn't know if he lived or not.
Nah, Ben.
That's a weird
Nah,
twist.
Ben. He just died.
Oh, he just died. Alabaster just died. They
He's
left
on
him
the
to
airship.
die.
He's the final boss.
We didn't see him die.
When we break down, when we're actually done with
I have a
season,
mental breakdown.
when we're done
That
with
was-
season 2, when we break down just some random things we want to talk about, closing it out, Alabaster is definitely gonna be like, what the fuck was the point of this character?
Look, Alabaster was their telltale game, option select, and they left him at the door.
Yeah.
But he's gonna come back with an eye patch and say, "I got lucky, real lucky."
Real lucky.
That's really
What a
funny.
cliffhanger.
Oh, truly.
Yeah, so we're heading into the finale section. It's fucking incredible. Let me pull up the comments section. I already read Chris's. Hey, what'd you say, Liam?
Let's just take this shit home. I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, we got John Mahan here. I think this almost every week, but thank God Laura is here to solve so many problems each week. You rock, Arastra.
Which episode is it on?
Okay.
First one. Cloud of daggers. Arastra falls and hits the front of a car and barely manages to get in it. Arastra. She actually had a bad episode. That episode. Yeah.
Is it okay? Let me.
Yeah. Let me link this section 10 minutes. Go ahead.
Let me copy him. Shut the fuck up. Is it maybe because Pike reached out his hand and was like, "Roster, go save yourself. You're the most useful one."
No, it's because in the combo attack, her thing was successful. Even though mostly the combo attacks didn't function that way. When one failed, the other would fail.
Fair enough.
Well, she is the one who hit him with an attack when they were driving away that made him trip and
Oh yeah, she
right?
did stun him. That is fair, actually. She did use her normal ability that's overpowered in a normal way.
Yeah.
With no cleverness to it at all. What a carry. That's like telling me I'm a carry because your character rolled some 20s and was a fighter in early game D&D. Damn, what a carry! You did your functionality. Holy shit, guys. I just ran a Final Fantasy XIV dungeon, and my healer was such a carry, because I got healed.
Man,
a carry.
That would be nice.
Alright, there's no comments on these episodes. There's 9 total on the second one and 14 on the first. We're getting close to our level of comments normally, except with less intelligent viewers. You guys are pretty smart. But we do have a Kandorian Wonder segment. So Kandorian Wonders on the first episode. What an epic escape! The ingenuity, the planning, the critical fails, laughing or crying emoji. Absolutely loved every second of it, especially the reactions from Vermilion is this sane hulking out, laughing, crying emoji. The escapades of Team Sapphire are so amazing, I need some of the animated, laughing, crying emoji. I gotta see Phoenix driving, or Asher with the vials of gravity duster in his hand. And all the crit fails, laughing, crying emoji. Thank you for a wonderful season, you beautiful beasts! I'm so excited to see what Chris with a K, Laura, Carrie, and Chad, and Eddie bring us next. And also thank you, Sam, and the entire CSAFR, RWBY, for an amazing production filled with love and enthusiasm. I hope our wait is an eternal P-face. Until next time, T-Sapphire.
So, if you like what we do here, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Wait, this is
and
comment from the second episode. I said there were 2. You're just not listening to me again, guys. He's just not listening to me. Kandorian Wonder. Such a good episode. I had to watch it 5 times before commenting. Don't just lie, Kandorian Wonder. Come on! Come on!
I mean, that's a little bullshit. Come on, man.
Death? Question mark, exclamation point. Goodness, this next episode is going to be wild. The story, the planning this episode was on point. And I'm excited to see what beautiful tale you all have crafted for us. all of these disparate elements are coming together for a big clash. Oh, I can't wait! Thank you all for this wonderful time. My only negative criticism or complaint is I wish I had a full hour to watch, but you all are busy, and I bet I'm in demand. So I understand and am grateful we get a weekly episode. Holy cum drinker. I'm surprised more people don't complain that we keep having off weeks. You guys are you guys are allowed to comment and be like, guys, you're fucking lazy. Upload episodes. Stop having scheduling issues. You don't have to lick our
caution, you will make Liam cry.
That's good. He's not
Fuck
doing
you.
it.
If I'm busy, I'm busy.
Yeah, exactly. You're allowed to do that. This is fucking scary. This guy, I love that he enjoys a product so much that he can say such nice things about these people. Man,
I think I'd be
imagine reading
I
this.
think I would be scared if unironically we got a comment that is this fucking like filleting.
Well, I would never expect someone to say they've watched our episodes more than once because ours are so fucking long. That is,
yeah.
At least with this one, it's like 30 minutes. I guess I could believe it.
I couldn't.
Disparate elements. What disparate elements? I don't know what he means.
Yeah.
Like the other gangs. Candorian Wonder, please comment below what you mean by this.
I shouldn't say more because I don't want to bully some random fucking guy.
What? No, I'm not bullying him. I love Candorian Wonder. He gives me the funniest things to read each episode. I love him. This is the Candorian Wonder segment. And what a wonder he is! Yeah, so any last thoughts on this episode, fellas?
At least they were short.
Damn, so funny you said it twice, huh?
At least they were short.
Liam coming in with
Alright, I got it.
I'm gonna kill you, Liam.
Please, don't pay money for anything on Rooster Teeth's store.
Good, that's a good point.
Don't pay money for this. Don't pay money for anything. I mean, actually, please, this is an unironic. If you watch stuff on the Rooster Teeth's, like all their stuff, like what do you watch? Do people actually watch Camp? Is there like a crowd for that? I don't get it.
Yeah, they're called campers.
When I went on, they asked me if I wanted to watch some new thing, and I just like didn't even look at it and sit no. Like on their website, like there was there's something new on there.
I would get ads for Camp Betrayal, and it was just like sus Among Us, sus Among Us. I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. They're jumping on every. I mean, it's pathetic. We should actually see. This is the stuff that I go. If it wasn't soul sucking, we should go like watch Camp Betrayal, because like it has to be terrible, right? Like it has to be soul suckingly awful.
We should watch Roll Initiative and see if it's good.
What the
No,
fuck
I don't want to watch another fucking D&D
What?
show.
Their D&D show. I've told you about this one.
Like just like 5e?
Of course they played fucking 5e.
Well, like 5e, like a module, like traditional.
No, I mean it's like their own stuff, but like that's
Yeah,
not
who
a
the
module.
hell would play a module? What are you, psycho?
No, yeah, it's like just D&D, yeah.
Sounds awful.
Oh man,
Sounds awful.
I think Gus runs it.
It's probably not as
Oh,
awful. It's probably not as awful.
Probably
That's
based
never
on-
mind.
Well, it's probably not as awful.
That's another right. This one is like literally I don't recognize any of these people. There's another show Gus runs on this. I don't remember what it's called.
Like, no matter what, they're probably not as awful as this, because this is the added benefit of, like, these are the fucking writers of actual RWBY.
Yeah, I do not care as much if their D&D game personally is bad. If it's entertaining, that's good.
Yeah,
But if it's just bad, that's not very entertaining.
Oh, yeah, it's just like...
This is RWBY. I will consume everything of RWBY in the world and talk about how terrible it is, because I have a fucking curse placed upon me. So yeah, tune in next time, guys, because next time should be the... Well, we'll have the RTX show to do, but it should be probably the last episode of Season 2 of the Grimm Campaign.
Yeah, if we can convince Liam to watch these episodes not the exact day of recording this, we should be able to get the next episode out with
If you try
covering
and
the
fire
last
back
two
all that
episodes.
shit
That's
you
fine.
got.
They got a 2x speed option for a reason.
2x listening.
But other than that, I think we're done now.
Yeah, play me out, bro.
For until the next time. Yeah, as I said, like, comment, and subscribe.
Maybe do it with like enthusiasm. I mean, these are things you sit through all this.
If you like what we do here, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let us know how we're doing, what we can do better. If you like this, you'll love Records of Remnant, a RWBY D&D game hosted by Noah, played with me and Ben. It's great. Tabletop, fucking. Also down below is a link to the One Piece game ran by myself. It's okay. And other than that, I guess we'll just see you next time.
Yeah, bye guys. Thanks for listening.
Hey.
Grab yourself a seat and keep those hands in the vehicle at all times. You're about to be taken on a ride through the untamed wilds of internet role-playing. Observe them in their natural habitat.
So you head out.
You know
So
that would be
you-
funny. I didn't know there'd be consequences.
Enjoy the splendor of their spurgery.
Felix, who is the lion fauna,
And feast your eyes upon the questionable creations of internet randoms.
Actually, I've never DM'd before.
This is the Supernova Safari.